You're tuned in to Super Talk 1270 and Free for All Friday. Compelling local talk at 11 o'clock. Free for All Friday features groups and organizations that are plugged into progress here in Central North Dakota. Our rotating panel includes members of the Bismarck Downtowners, the Mandan Progress Organization, the Bismarck-Mandan Chamber of Commerce, and representatives from Pride of Dakota. You're invited to call in and join the discussion. It's Free for All Friday on Super Talk 1270.
Happy Friday from the Downtowners. We're on Free for All Fridays on Super Talk 1270 AM. With me is Kate Herzog to my right. And running our boards this cold and windy Friday morning is Jim. Jim Walsh, our fearless leader, I suppose. Yes. So we're going to be talking about all things downtown again today. We have lots coming up, lots of events, some exciting business openings, and we're going to have two really wonderful guests this morning. Next segment, we're going to have Garrett Moon, who is one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups. I just had their relaunch event this past Wednesday. It was a fantastic time at Dakota Stage Limited. And we'll also be talking with Mike Zimney. He is with Altag Engineers, and he's also a presenter at this year's 4th Annual North Dakota Downtown Conference, which is coming up in about 2 weeks. So, as we go along, give us a call at 663-1270, 663-1270 to talk with us, ask us questions, or give us a shout-out maybe. So, Kate, tell us a little bit of what's shaking downtown.
Yeah, there's a lot of events. October kind of kicks off the fall event season in downtown Bismarck. And generally at the beginning of every month, our arts community are hosting their monthly exhibit reception. So at the Bismarck Downtown Artist Co-op, Kathy Fedek's doing her solo exhibit, and that starts today. At BDAC, I believe they have their opening reception tonight on the historic Tribune Building on 4th Street in downtown Bismarck. So Kathy Fedek at the Bismarck Downtown Artist Co-op solo exhibit.
And that exhibit will go through the 25th of October, I believe.
Yes, and then Dakota Stage always has a million things coming up. Their first show of the 36th season, Boeing, starts October 9th and runs through the 19th. It's kind of like a 60s farce. There's a pilot who has a number of different lady friends in different ports, and they release a new jet, and hilarity ensues, and they all kind of come together. So check out Boeing. It's a great kickoff to 36th season at Dakota Stage.
The sets, the costumes, everything are super mod, 60s style, so it's a fun time.
Yeah, and part of the Downtown Artist Co-op is partnering with Dakota Stage. They're going to be doing 3 art pieces for the set, and then they'll be raffling them off. Artists Paul Newt and Allie the Rock, great local artists. So you can get $5 raffle tickets at Dakota Stage to buy those 3 pieces of artwork. Very 60s mod pieces of artwork. So if that's your thing, $5 is dirt cheap for Paul Newt and Allie the Rock.
Best deal in town.
Yeah. Another, as Don mentioned, we're going to do the 4th Annual North Dakota Downtown Conference October 15th and 16th, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the show. But as we were talking about earlier, this is really the kickoff to our fall art shows. And so at the Bismarck Art and Galleries Association, they have their fall art exhibit starting October 7th through the 25th. And that's generally one of their biggest exhibitions of the year. If you don't know where Bega is, it's on the corner of 5th and Front in downtown Bismarck. Great member artists. If you go to Bega, you can see the new utility box art on 5th and Front. Dakota West Arts Council is going to be covering 10 signal light boxes in the city of Bismarck with different local art vinyl wraps. Very cool. So check that out.
And that the first one was just installed on Monday. It is painting by, or it's taken from a painting by local artist Rick Sprincenatic. If you're not familiar with him, you probably just don't know that you are, because he's also painted the ceilings at great places like Space Aliens, Fiesta Via, and the airport.
Yeah, he's a great local artist. So when you're down at the Bega Fall Art Exhibition, check out that utility box. If you have a utility box near you and you want it to be covered, let Dakota West Arts Council know they're taking submissions for the other 9 boxes they're going to be doing. So very cool new program in downtown Bismarck.
And then coming up on October 22nd, the 4th annual Bucks for Bras charity event is happening. This is a really exciting event, and if you've been driving along 3rd Street near Front Avenue and you've seen a bunch of bras covering Borrowed Bucks Roadhouse and wondering what the heck is that all about, this is exactly what it's about. It benefits cancer survivors, and the event will take place at 5:30 p.m. October 22nd at Borrowed Bucks Roadhouse.
Yeah, tickets to the event are $15 in advance, $20 at the door. You can purchase your tickets at Borrowed Bucks Roadhouse, and if you don't know where that is, again, there's a whole bunch of bras hanging off the side of the building. You can also get them at the American Cancer Society or the Bismarck Cancer Center, or online at Bucks for Bras. It's a great fundraiser for breast cancer survivors, or all cancer survivors, that Borrowed Bucks has done for a number of years. So if you want to be a part of that, go to bucksforbras.com, and that's the 4th annual Bucks for Bras charity event, October 22nd.
And then something else that I'm super excited about is coming up on October 24th and 25th. October is jam-packed with all kinds of fun this month. Dakota Stage Limited is going to be putting on the totally awesome 80s prom. And so anybody that grew up in the 80s or remembers it or took part in 80s prom type events, you're going to love this. It is script plus improv, so you never know what's going to happen, but all the actors will be wearing all kinds of fab 80s prom wear. You can dress up as well, and it's very stylized down to all of the little kind of props and everything. They've been really diligent about finding 80s ideas. So take that in. Dakota Stage Limited has your tickets available.
I think they do some singing too, like Journey and stuff like that. The Totally Awesome 80s Prom is also a touring show for Dakota Stage. So if you have a Christmas event or something coming up, give them a buzz. They're also going to be having live stand-up comedy that same time, the 24th and 25th. Comedian Slagle and Washburn will be there. Tickets are $15, and the show starts at 8 p.m. All of that you can find at dakotastageltd.com.
And again, on October 24th and 25th, you will not be bored these 2 days. The North Dakota Sportsman's Expo will be taking place at the Bismarck Civic Center Friday 1 to 7 p.m. and Saturday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is your premier fall hunting, fishing, trapping, and snowmobile, ATV, ice house, and other types of sporting event.
Yeah, admission's only $3 to get into the North Dakota Sportsman Expo October 24th and 25th. Again, it's that kickoff to fall hunting season. They got a ton of vendors there. You can find a lot of new products, a lot of new services that you might need for your fall hunting, winter hunting season, fishing, trapping, and all the fun stuff like snowmobiles and ATVs. That's more my speed. I prefer to just eat what people catch and then snowmobile around them for fun. But yeah, check out the North Dakota Sportsman's Expo, October 24th and 25th. All right, we've got a couple more events we'll tell you about at the end of the show, as well as a new business moving into downtown Bismarck. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Garrett Moon from 1 Million Cups. You're listening to Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 39.
You're never more than a few minutes from a weather update here on Super Talk 1270.
And we're back on Free for All Fridays with the Downtowners. Well, first segment went pretty quick, but we have a really exciting next segment here. We're going to be talking with Garrett Moon. He's with Today Made and also one of the organizers of the relaunch of 1 Million Cups. So we're on the line with Garrett. Hey, Garrett, how are you doing?
Hey, Don. Great to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Hey, Garrett, it's Kate. We had an awesome time at your 1 Million Cups relaunch on Wednesday at Dakota Stage. Just quickly, for those who don't know, what is 1 Million Cups?
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to make it. I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
It was a really exciting event, and it had a lot of energy. So, 1 Million Cups is basically a free program that gives 1 to 2 local startups an opportunity to give a presentation or a pitch about their business with an engaged crowd. And we limit that to 6 minutes, and then we'll for about 20 minutes of Q&A for each of those presenters, meaning that the crowd is able to give them advice, ask them questions about their business, possibly, find new ways to connect them with people in the community, or, new ways to prove their business model or their plan. So it's very much a entrepreneurial education program in that. And I think, by bringing people together, allowing them to share what they're doing, and then get feedback on those ideas, it also creates an opportunity for them to get connected with people in their own community.
And Garrett, 1 Million Cups is kind of a national get-together, correct?
Correct. 1 Million Cups was launched by the Kauffman Foundation, which is out of Kansas City. They actually started the very first 1 Million Cups right there in Kansas City without really the intent of making it a national program, but the idea caught on. They soon had a few hundred people coming each week, and they started to kind of rebrand it as a national group. I think now there are 55 branches or chapters, I guess, throughout the United States, and now they're kind of working on a worldwide expansion. Bismarck's chapter is actually in the top 20, or it was one of the first 20 to be launched. So we were pretty early on in the process.
And this is really something that we've not seen a lot of in Bismarck-Mandan. Obviously, the Idea Center, is one of those organizations that's really trying to help startups and entrepreneurs. But really, what were you guys hoping to accomplish with the relaunch that you had on Wednesday with 1 Million Cups?
Yeah, great question. The Idea Center originally brought 1 Million Cups to Bismarck and started it, and they've been running it for about the past year. We just had our 1-year anniversary here in October. And we just thought, with that 1-year anniversary coming up and, some of the successes that we're seeing with other 1 Million Cups chapters throughout the country, we saw an opportunity to kind of reinvent how we were doing it to make it a little bit more of a weekly event that brings people together in a way that, Bismarck doesn't really have right now. Sometimes, in our Midwestern culture, we don't talk to each other too much. So we really wanted to make this a weekly meeting, kind of make it a big deal, a bigger production than it had been before, and give people a really good reason to come downtown and a really good reason to come and meet some people in their community that are shaking things up. So for the relaunch, we put a lot of things into it. We adjusted the format. We added a lot of new technology. We formalized our process quite a bit. We have some great MPs that are leading each week and making it a very engaging, exciting event.
So, Garrett, throughout this 1 year that 1 Million Cups has been in Bismarck, tell us a little bit about what ideas and businesses you've seen come about or come to present.
I think one of the surprising things that you find out is that there are a lot of gems in Bismarck and Mandan that you don't hear about. And these aren't just, we hear about the small business, we hear about the shops, and we hear about the stores and the restaurants, but some of these, folks that we have coming in, are running global companies, and they're selling, products worldwide and have been for years. They have 10, 15 people, and then maybe even a remote office, and they're doing it all right here from Bismarck. And I think that's been really exciting for us to see those stories come out and see that there are bigger things going on in our community than we normally realize just at the beginning.
We're talking with Garrett Moon. He is one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups Bismarck-Mandan, also founder at Today Made, which is a great company in downtown Bismarck. Kind of rolling on 1 Million Cups and connecting entrepreneurs and startups in our community. Talk a little bit about Start Bismarck-Mandan, which you guys are just starting to launch, and a little bit about where people can find that and what the purpose of Start Bismarck is.
Yeah, Start Bismarck is, essentially a group of community leaders that we, have meet. We've been meeting once a week since early July, and the purpose of that group is really to discover ways and to organize ways that we can kind of build a startup community in Bismarck. And what we mean by startup community is a group of people who are involved in starting new businesses, maybe creatives, maybe they're creating things or creating art. And support those types of things for our community, and I guess just drive awareness and drive, for lack of a better word, just that community bringing people together. So Start Bismarck, is behind events. We're bringing 1 Million Cups, obviously, kind of relaunching that was a big task of the Start Bismarck group. Another one we have coming up in January is something called Startup Weekend, and that's basically a 54-hour competition where groups, young professionals, and developers, business minds come together, start a company with a group of mentors and advisors in a 54-hour setting, and then launch their product in front of a group of mock investors. So it's a really neat event. That's another worldwide event, and we'll be able to bring that to Bismarck as well as some other options that we're hoping to bring in the future.
I'm really excited about the startup weekend. It's like 54 hours. You get put in a room, figure out your business plan, get through it. You said January is going to be a startup weekend, correct?
Yep, January 23rd and 25th. We have some more details coming very soon about location and details on how people can get signed up. So, right now, the best way to find out about that is if you go to startbismarck.com. We do have some basic information about those dates. And more importantly, we have an email newsletter. The Start Bismarck group sends out a weekly email every single Monday morning detailing the events that are going on that week within the startup community. And that includes what's happening at 1 Million Cups, and that will include more details on Start Bismarck as it goes out. So if people go to startbismarck.com, they can get on that newsletter, and that's definitely the best way to stay informed with what we're doing.
We're talking with Garrett Moon. He's one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups Bismarck-Mandan, kind of a meetup, startup, entrepreneur meeting that takes place every Wednesday morning from 9 to 10 o'clock at Dakota Stage in downtown Bismarck. Garrett, also being, a founder of kind of technology company in downtown Bismarck and 1 Million Cups and Start Bismarck, it's all really, leading to creating or growing our community here of entrepreneurs and startups. What have you seen are really the challenges or the things that we can improve on to really grow that culture in Bismarck?
Well, I think some of the things that we really have to focus on, and as a Start Bismarck group, the things that we focus on are, creating a very active and healthy downtown is very important to us. We work really hard to make sure that we kept 1 Million Cups downtown, and we're really proud to be at Dakota Stage, a historic theater right in our downtown area. And I think that's a really important aspect of the type of community and culture that we're hoping to foster. I think some of the other things are, there's a lot of stigma, and we even can be, can get ourselves that we're a smaller community, we're a smaller town. On the western side of the state, we have a heavy manufacturing and some of those types of things. So we don't always see that there are those startups and there are these creative opportunities out there in front of us. And I think that's really the story we're wanting to tell, is that there's a lot more going on in this town that we always give it credit for. And there's a great oil boom going on in our state, but behind that, there's also a great boom of people feeling empowered to create things, empowered to start things, and 1 Million Cups gives them a really good stage for them to share their ideas and what they're doing.
And again, if you want to find out more, 1 Million Cups Bismarck-Mandan also has a Facebook page. Everyone is encouraged to come if you just want to be inspired by really positive people who are out there doing it, or you yourself have an idea or a company that you would like to talk about. Definitely get involved with the people at 1 Million Cups in Bismarck. Really, Garrett, one other quick thing that we think is important with 1 Million Cups and Start Bismarck is really talent recruitment and retention. Just talk really briefly about if you think this is really going to spur that on.
Well, certainly, from my personal background, the reason I got involved is because, me and my co-founder have a company here called Co-Schedule, and then Today Made, as you mentioned as well. And those are both companies that are growing quickly in the technology space. And, we are going to have some recruiting needs as we go along. And we want to make sure that as we recruit, as we try to bring in people from outside of our state, which, North Dakota is doing a lot of that, we have a lot of new jobs here, so we're bringing people in. We need to give them communities and activities and some of the events and some of the events and things that they want to see in a community. We need to make those things available. So for us as a recruiting tool, we just want to see the healthiest Bismarck that we can make and the strongest community that we can make. And so that's good for us as a startup, but it's really good for everybody. It's good for all businesses. And I think one thing to emphasize is that with 1 Million Cups is it's not just for businesses and entrepreneurs. We have a lot of people who come who just love the energy and the passion that comes from being around that sort of thing. And, we have something called a mug club where if you come 10 times, you actually get a free coffee mug with the 1 Million Cups on it. It's a really neat mug. And people come up to the stage and they talk about why they come to 1 Million Cups. And the reason that we hear the most often is because of the energy and the passion that they see that they can take and put into whatever it is they're doing. It might be a business, maybe it's a hobby on the side that they're working on, maybe it's the company that they work for, whatever it is, but it's about getting that weekly dose of passion.
Yeah, I would say it is probably some of the most optimistic and energetic people that you're going to be around in your week. You know, and learning about things that you just had no idea that were here. 1 Million Cups Bismarck-Mandan. Quickly, we've got about 30 seconds. Let us know where people can find 1 Million Cups online and all the great details.
Yeah, I think just go to startbismarck.com. If you want to go directly to the 1 Million Cups page, it's startbismarck.com/1MC. Follow us on Twitter, 1 Million Cups ND, or on Facebook, we're facebook.com/1 Million Cups ND on there as well. But Start Bismarck, if you go to Start Bismarck, you'll find a link to everything that you need, and you can jump on that email newsletter, which definitely is the best way to stay informed with what's going on.
Well, thanks so much, Garrett Moon. He's one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups. Just did their relaunch in Bismarck-Mandan at Dakota Stage. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 39.
Your news leader, weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
And we're back again on Free for All Fridays with the Downtowners. We are halfway through our show now, so we have lots to talk about still on our second half of Free for All Fridays with the Downtowners. Just want to remind everybody that we have an exciting new business announcement coming to downtown Bismarck that we'll talk about in our last segment. But right now, we're going to talk to our second guest, and we want to give a shout out to Garrett Moon with 1 Million Cups. He was our first guest today. Thanks so much, Garrett, for being on the show. Right now, we're going to talk with Mike Zibney of Alteg Engineers. He is their lead GIS analyst. Hey, Mike, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I think Kate has a really interesting question for you.
Yeah, first, Mike, I know you'll be at our conference for the North Dakota Downtown Conference, but what the heck is a lead GIS analyst?
Well, see, my background is both on the planning side of things as well as mapping. So GIS is just Geographic Information Systems.
All right,
So that's kind of the second hat I wear. But for the Downtowners Conference, I'll be wearing my planner hat and talking about urban design and things along that line.
Well, we're all a little smarter now that we figured that out. Mike is going to be presenting at our 4th Annual North Dakota Downtown Conference, October 15th and 16th. Really invite you to come check it out if you're interested in downtown development or just interested in how we build our communities. It's a great conference, downtownbismarck.com to register. But Mike, you're at Alteg Engineers, and you said you do a lot of planning. Talk a little bit about your presentation that you're going to be giving on October 16th. It's entitled Walkable and Livable. First off, maybe tell people what walkability is.
Walkability is designing cities and neighborhoods and streets so that a person can have the option to not just have to get in their car to drive somewhere to get to school or to their destination. So walkability is all about creating safe streets, inviting public realms where a person, finds the option of walking. I always say that a place is walkable when a person walks not because they have to, but because they feel like that, they'd be missing out on the experience. So think of like downtown Bismarck or the Cathedral District. Those type of environments are one that are really inviting, and there's a lot of activity going on, and you just kind of would rather walk around and check things out or be on your bike.
Talking a little bit about your presentation at the North Dakota Downtown Conference, beyond really the kind of visceral feeling that you get when you're on a good street or you're in a neighborhood that's really engaging, you're going to talk a little bit kind of about the science of designing streets and ratios, and tell us a little bit really about the science of designing a good street in a good neighborhood.
Well, what you kind of want, there's three things you want in a good neighborhood or in your downtowns. Is first, you want to make it inviting. Second, you want to make it safe. And by safe, I don't necessarily mean safe from someone from violence or something, but more along safe from not being run over by a car.
Sure.
And third, you want to make it so that you have destinations that are nearby. So, like a neighborhood school, for example. If the school is nearby, you're more likely, or your kids would be more likely to walk to it. So on the science side of things, I'll be talking a lot about sense of place, and what you'll notice in places that people find really attractive and enjoyable, and the best streets in the world and plazas and greens are built on certain ratios. And what that, all you're really doing is bringing buildings closer to the street. And when you do that, you create spatial enclosure, and people find that more appealing and an inviting type environment. And it kind of goes back to biology in terms of creating straight or safe streets. You need to, if you want an area like in downtown Bismarck where you want people to gather and hang out and sit in the cafe style seating next to the Peacock Alley, you want to have it so that traffic isn't moving at such a high rate of speed that people become nervous. And so kind of taming the traffic, slowing it down, and there's a lot of do's and don'ts. If you build a street like a mini highway, then it's tough to expect anything but traffic to move at highway speeds.
Mm-hmm. So why would a city want to design in this manner?
The trends in population, both with the millennials, what we're seeing is that the housing and the environments that group really seeks out is more walkable, mixed-use communities. And on the other side of that coin is the empty nesters as well. The trends are also that they're not necessarily wanting to move to a retirement community, the Sun City, Arizona type community. Instead, a larger portion of that population wants to be in an active community that's mixed use, so that they can get up in the morning and go buy the newspaper, go get a cup of coffee, go buy a book, go to entertainment, or walk to a friend's house. And so being in an active, engaged community it's where a larger portion of the population is kind of the current trend, and it's kind of an unmet demand. Sure. What typically is built today in pretty much every city across the U.S. is a suburban style development pattern that's geared towards making it easy to get places in your car, but in doing so, it really restricts people's option of walking. So this will kind of give someone kind of the other side of that coin if they're interested in seeing what does it take to be truly walkable. Because what I've seen in my experience over the last 10 years is that communities become interested in becoming walkable, and they equate that with all they need to do is add some more trails to their town, some more bike lanes, sprinkle some more sidewalks here and there, and then they'll be walkable. But it takes a lot more than that. You really need to create, the environment where someone would want to choose to walk. And so that's what I'll be covering a lot. How do you make it livable?
We're talking with Mike Zimney. He's with Alltake Engineers. He's going to be presenting at our 4th Annual North Dakota Downtown Conference, October 15th and 16th. Like you said, walkable and livable is the title of his presentation. You really touched on a great point that I'm not sure a lot of people are consciously aware of, that really the two biggest generations that the United States has produced now are the millennials and the baby boomers. And what they, would like, what's in demand for them is going to be a huge trend for our cities going forward. Do you see that trend continuing with millennials, smaller home sizes, more multimodal transit, maybe more localism in terms of their purchases?
I do, and I think that's what a big driver of where people move now. What I've seen on the national level is the communities that are successful in attracting, that the group of students, leaving college, and those young professionals that every community wants a huge population of, is they're seeking out, most of the time you can get a job anywhere, and if they have the choice, a lot of them it's now driven by, what does that city have to offer? Every city across the U.S. has, the same commercial type chain stores, and so people are kind of looking, what does that downtown have? Is there, in an old neighborhood, or is there, new mixed-use neighborhoods that kind of provide a different flavor than is available in kind of more common.
So what we're seeing then is when you do create these walkable and livable cities, then there's quite the return on investment and a high density as well. Is this what you're seeing, or what is the return on investment for creating such?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge return on investment with urbanism, and it's on two sides of it. The first being you have higher density, you have typically higher quality buildings that generate higher value, and then when you create sense of place, and I kind of hate to throw that term out because it's so ambiguous, and it's one of those that I'll cover in depth at the presentation. But when you create that charming area, people pay a premium for that, and that's reflected in property values. And so, what I've seen and it's pretty easy to do the analysis, but in Fargo, if you compare, your typical suburban style development, the big boxes or chain restaurants, the property value per acre is sometimes a 10th or a 20th of what you'd see in the properties downtown. And then to kind of make a situation even better, when you have higher density, your infrastructure costs are less as well, because the pipe in the ground, those costs are on a linear foot. So if you're only serving two buildings because you have a big massive lot and a big parking lot, compared to in a downtown where on one stretch of block, on 400 or 500 feet, you might have 10 or 12 stores plus multiple levels. So you get a lot more return on your infrastructure costs as well.
Mm-hmm. And really, with what's happening in North Dakota and all the expansion that we do have, finding a way to pay for those infrastructure costs is going to be, I think, a real key coming up in the next session and with our local communities. So, Mike's preaching and we preach density because it really is the most tax efficient and production per acre is quite high. Mike, we've just got about 30 seconds left. Tell everybody a little bit about, you're going to be at our 4th Annual North Dakota Downtown Conference, October 16th. If you could give cities one piece of information, tell them to do one thing, what would it be to create a walkable, livable community?
Design streets for people, not just for cars. Go to more of a mixed-use planning policy, and make those streets safe and a high-quality public realm.
Well, thanks so much, Mike Zimney. He's going to be at our North Dakota Downtown Conference talking about walkable, livable cities in our downtowns. You can sign up at downtownbismarck.com. Thanks so much, Mike. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 39.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at 2, only on Super Talk 1270.
Well, we are back on Free for All Fridays with the Downtowners, our final segment. That always goes so fast. I really want to thank Mike Zimney with Alteg Engineers for joining us last segment. He had some great information to share, and we are looking super forward to seeing him at the 4th Annual North Dakota Downtown Conference coming up on October 15th and 16th. I'll give you some more information about that and how to register a little bit later. This is your last time or last chance to give us a call at 663-1270. And we have some other things to talk about. Lots of other things, actually.
Yeah, a couple events we didn't quite get to at the beginning of the show. If you're looking for something fun to do for Halloween, we've got our flashback film series going on at Dakota Stage. We're going to be showing Beetlejuice on Halloween Eve, the October 30th.
All Hallows Eve.
That's right. Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder. Shake, shake, shake. I mean, it's a great movie. Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice, Dakota Stage, October 30th.
Say it one more time. Maybe he'll show up.
No, you're not supposed to say it 3 times. Don. We don't want Beetlejuice here.
Don't we?
No, I think havoc ensues when he shows up. Also happening October 11th, I want to talk a little bit about Pink Out Saturday. Downtown Bismarck businesses are going to participate by offering a portion of their sales to benefit cancer patients and families in our area. So shout out to Susan Schwieters at Lillian's on 5th Street. She's kind of been organizing it, trying to get downtown businesses to participate and give part of their proceeds. Vivian, the pink fire truck, is going to be parked there. And I think you can write on it, can't you, Don?
You can write on it, correct. You can give kind of like a written memorial to somebody that's been affected with cancer in your life. It's a great way to just keep their memory alive or their survival as well.
Yeah, so if you want to participate, we either encourage you to go down and shop on October 11th at those businesses that are participating downtown, or if you are a business owner and want to participate, you can get a hold of the Bismarck Cancer Center, let them know you want to be involved in Pink Out Saturday.
Or you can contact Susan as well at her store, which is 258-5303, and get involved. But if you are downtown during October 11th, a lot of the businesses participating will be marked with pink balloons or some kind of pink. So come on down. This is to support all cancer, and not just breast cancer, but actually all cancers too.
Survivors, yes, very good. And their families. Don was kind of hinting that we've got a new business that's coming into downtown Bismarck.
Yes, it's a new concept. This will be a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. They are going to be combining fancy coffee with also a retail space called Terra Nomad. You can check them out on Facebook, Terra Nomad. It is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, TerraNomadCompany.com is their website. They're going to be located in the former Discontent building on Main Avenue, so just next to Humpback Sally's and the Luft, which opened not too long ago. The same owner bought another building, and he just loves bringing cool things to downtown Bismarck. So Terra Nomad be doing high-end coffee and some retail in their location. Very modern looking, kind of hipster looking. It's going to be a great addition to downtown Bismarck.
They also have a blog that's really fun to read, so check it out, see where they're coming from and what they're planning on doing.
Yeah, it's sort of a local kids done good, and that's what we're seeing with a lot of our downtown business owners. Terra Nomad, these people that are from here. They've gone out and kind of experienced things that they want to bring back to the community, and so that's really what they're going to be doing. TerraNomadCompany.com. You can find them in the former Discontent building on Main Avenue. Also, just a little bit of news about, we've been talking about the parade routes a little bit in downtown Bismarck, and there's kind of a stop-start with what's happening with that. Just so everybody knows a little bit, the traditional parade route that's been coming from the Capitol and then kind of making its way down 5th Street to the Civic Center. With the increased oil traffic, obviously that's an issue stopping the trains and really kind of holds up everything down the line. And so looking at some alternate parade routes with the Bismarck Police Department and the City of Bismarck, the downtowners, and some of the parade organizers. So stay tuned. I think through the winter we're going to try and work through some of those issues. But really with that increased oil traffic, it's really tough to stop those trains. And we've got farmers and companies that are trying to get things in and out of the state. And so a little change to the parade route will have.
Lots of industries are now really heavily dependent on rail travel and traffic. So just something that we're going to be working on, and so we can continue those great parades in Bismarck.
Yeah, so if you have any questions or concerns, you can let us know and we can pass those on as well. But new parade routes. We really want to talk about our North Dakota Downtown Conference coming up October 15th and 16th. Like Don had said, we talked with Mike Zimney, who's going to be doing a great presentation. A big name in downtown development in North Dakota, Doug Burgum, is going to be our keynote speaker, and he's going to be having a keynote address that we are going to open to the public. We found a bigger venue up at the Heritage Center at the Russell Reed Auditorium, so that is free to attend. If you would like to go, just go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Downtown Bismarck, and the event is right there. You can click on it and get tickets. The full conference runs October 15th and 16th with other presenters. Catherine Carell from Downtown Colorado, Inc. They're going to be talking about the technical assistance program that they do in all their downtowns in Colorado, something I think we could really mirror here. And that's not just for, Bismarck-sized cities. We're talking very small communities.
All communities within this region.
And then we're really excited to have Tom Guzman. He is like a long-time, decades-long downtown development guru in the state of Iowa and has run the Iowa Main Street program for a number of years. Along with Doug and Mike and Catherine, it's going to be a great conference. If you're a downtown business owner, you're just interested in downtown, encourage you to sign up and come to those events, downtownbismarck.com.
So we're super excited to have Doug here and are very thrilled to be able to open it up to the public on the evening of or afternoon, evening of the 15th. But we really recommend you also signing up for the full conference, just because it's so great. It's a wonderful atmosphere to be a part of when you're with people of like mind and ideas and that type of thing. Really is a great idea generator as well.
And if you're not interested, I'll come for the food.
That's always
Lucky
great
Ducks
food.
is doing breakfast. We've got vouchers for downtown lunch. We're going to be having a social after Doug Burgum's keynote. So, I mean, you will not go away hungry or hungry for ideas. You'll get a ton. That's right. See how I worked that in there?
Good job.
That's good stuff. Just a couple other things we wanted to mention. Street Fair was great this year. Just want to shout out to all our partners, sponsors, and everybody who came out. It was a little cool out and kept all the bees away.
Yeah.
And
no wasps this year. No wasp stings that we heard of, really. It was fantastic because I think the cooler weather and the low wind speeds kept people hanging out for a while and just enjoying it. The streets were really packed all the hours on both days. We had some really great returning vendors, as we always do. We had some exciting new vendors that we're excited to have back next year. But again, a full show of vendors, and it was a great way to celebrate downtown Bismarck.
somebody said to me, and not in a disparaging way, I looked up Fifth Street and it looked like Dawn of the Dead. It was just zombies, in a group moving really slow through Fifth Street. So our
Shopping zombies.
Our 41st year of Street Fair is going strong. So thanks, everybody, all our community partners. Town Square Media, again, did a fabulous job for getting people out to our Street Fair.
Yes.
And then a great event that's a ways away, but we really start thinking about now is Small Business Saturday. It's the Saturday after Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving. We're really gearing up. Our shops are going to be offering a ton of specials, opening early, doorbusters. It's an event that we've seen grow dramatically. From last year to the year before, we saw a 50% increase in businesses that participated.
And tons of groups of people walking through downtown with shopping bags, going from shop to shop. Again, doesn't really matter what the weather is necessarily, because you don't have far to go to the next awesome location.
I think we had almost 40 businesses participate downtown in Small Business Saturday last year. So hoping to just increase that and increase the awareness, to just add in a local business in your holiday shopping. We're not saying don't go to the mall or anything like that. We just want a great mix, and that money really stays here. And so Small Business Saturday is going to be November 29th, I believe, and Don and I will be out early getting our shopping on in downtown Bismarck. So yeah, lots coming up. Jim, you just did a great job this week on Cool 98. You're bumping it. And we do this every month. Again, if you're interested in anything that's happening in downtown Bismarck, you can visit downtownbismarck.com. We do this as a podcast, and Jim does a great job getting this up on the website. So if you've missed anything in our shows, definitely visit a Super Talks website, and you can listen to the whole shebang.
It'll go up over the weekend.
Okay.
Up over the weekend.
And even if you heard it today and just really miss us or want to hear the show again, just rewind and play it again.
I highly doubt people are, I don't know. Maybe once is enough to listen to us, right? No, okay, yeah, we're pretty good. We're pretty darn good. But like we said, we've got a million events coming up in downtown Bismarck, so go to our website, downtownbismarck.com. You can check out all the upcoming events through our newsletters. You can find us at Facebook at Downtown Bismarck, or Facebook.com/Downtown Bismarck. We're on Twitter at DowntownBizND. Again, encourage you to come out and see Doug Burgum and our entire conference panelists at the North Dakota Downtown Conference, October 15th and 16th. It's going to be a great time. And then really start thinking about Christmas, because it feels like Christmas outside right now. It's cold. At Small Business Saturday on November 29th. For Don Kopp, Jim Walsh, I'm Kate Herzog with the Downtowners. We'll see you next month on Free for All Fridays on Super Talk 1270 AM.